For centuries, the Vaxian Empire ruled the Orion arm of the galaxy with unmatched power. Their warships moved through space like predators, sleek and deadly. No species had ever successfully resisted them. At the center of their military might stood the Eternal Dominance, the most advanced battleship ever built, commanded by Admiral Tayo. Admiral Tayo sat in his command chair, watching distant stars on the main view screen. His face showed no emotion as reports of conquest flowed in. He had overseen the subjugation of 12 species personally, adding to the Empire's growing collection of slave worlds. "Admiral, the Klaxian surrender is complete," reported Commander Jinwoo, standing at attention. "Their defense fleet has been disabled, and their orbital platforms are under our control." Taho nodded slightly. "Casualties? Minimal on our side. Their resistance lasted only 6 hours." "Disappointing," Taho said. The reports suggested they might present a challenge. He turned to Lieutenant Minsu at the tactical station. "Prepare extraction teams. Standard procedure." Standard procedure meant stripping the planet of valuable resources, conscripting suitable populations for labor, and establishing a permanent military presence. The Vaxians had refined this process to brutal efficiency. The bridge crew worked in silence, each member performing tasks they had completed dozens of times before. The conquest of the Klaxians was merely another entry in the Empire's long history of expansion. Later that cycle, as Admiral Taho reviewed reports in his private quarters, a communication request flashed on his screen. It was from Imperial Intelligence, marked urgent. He accepted the transmission. "Admiral," began Director Kyungo, his image appearing on screen. "Our deep space monitoring stations have detected unusual activity in Sector 47B. Uncharted territory," Taho noted. "Pirates?" "No. It appears to be an emerging civilization. They call themselves humans from a planet named Earth. They have recently achieved faster-than-light capability." Taho's interest flickered briefly. New species were always categorized and evaluated for potential threat or value to the Empire. "Show me their vessels." Director Kyung-ho transmitted images of bulky human ships. They were clearly first-generation FTL craft, with exposed engine sections and basic weapon systems. "Primitive," Taho observed. "Their technology appears to be at least 3 centuries behind ours." "Yes, but there's something unusual about them. They've advanced from planetary flight to FTL travel in less than 100 years. That's the fastest technological progression we've recorded." Taho considered this information. Rapid advancement could indicate adaptability, which might make conquest more complicated. Still, no species had ever presented a true challenge to Vaxian dominance. "Have they established colonies?" he asked. 3 worlds beyond their home system. Small outposts mostly. Taho nodded. "Add them to the acquisition list. Low priority. We'll deal with them after the Centauri campaign." The matter settled, Taho returned to his strategic planning. The humans were just another species that would eventually bow before the Empire. Their technological achievement, while noteworthy, meant little against the overwhelming might of a civilization that had mastered the stars centuries ago. 3 months later, a Vaxian scout vessel encountered a human exploration ship near the edge of Sector 47B. Following standard protocol, they demanded the humans submit to inspection. The human captain refused. The scout vessel's commander, Lieutenant Sunho, reported directly to Admiral Tayo. "The humans displayed unusual behavior, Admiral. When informed they were in Vaxian territory, they claimed the region was unclaimed space according to something called Galactic Commons principles." "Did you correct their misunderstanding?" Taho asked coldly. "Yes, Admiral. We disabled their engines with a warning shot. However, before we could board them, they activated some kind of emergency system. Their ship self-destructed. This was unusual. Most species surrendered immediately when confronted by Vaxian technology. Self-destruction suggested principles or information the humans valued above their lives." "Interesting," Taho said. "Perhaps these humans warrant closer observation." Deploy reconnaissance drones to their colonies. I want to understand their defensive capabilities. Commander Jinwoo, who had been listening to the exchange, spoke up. Do you anticipate complications, Admiral? Tahoe allowed himself a small smile. No, but unlike the Klaxians, they might provide at least a few hours of challenge. Prepare a detailed invasion plan. We'll move against their outermost colony within the year. As the Vaxian Empire turned its attention toward Earth, neither Admiral Tahoe nor any of his strategists could imagine that this seemingly insignificant species would soon change the balance of power throughout the galaxy. The humans, with their brief history among the stars, were about to face the greatest threat to their existence, and in doing so, would reveal themselves as the greatest threat the Vaxian Empire had ever encountered. Earth's first contact with an alien civilization created worldwide excitement. For days, news networks showed the same footage of the massive Vaxian ship entering Earth orbit. Its sleek design made human spacecraft look primitive by comparison. Leaders from every nation gathered to prepare for this historic moment. Ambassador Soman had been chosen to lead the human delegation. She stood before the mirror in her quarters aboard the orbital station, adjusting her formal blue uniform. The weight of responsibility pressed heavily on her shoulders. Are you ready, Ambassador? Asked her assistant, handing her a tablet with final briefing notes. As ready as anyone can be to meet aliens, Soman replied with a small smile. Let's hope they're friendly. The meeting room had been prepared according to Earth's best understanding of diplomatic protocol. A large round table dominated the center, symbolizing equality between species. Displays showed peaceful scenes from Earth, oceans, mountains, cities where different cultures lived together. When the Vaxian delegation entered, led by Admiral Tahoe, the humans fell silent. The aliens walked with perfect posture, their skin a pale blue-gray, their uniforms immaculate. Admiral Tahoe's face showed no emotion as he surveyed the room. Soman stepped forward. On behalf of Earth and all humanity, I welcome you to our world. We hope this meeting begins a friendship that will benefit both our peoples. Admiral Tahoe did not return her smile. The Vaxian Empire acknowledges your species. We have studied your transmissions for some time. His perfect command of English surprised the humans. Later they would learn that the Vaxians had monitored Earth's broadcasts for decades. The first day of talks seemed promising. The Vaxians shared information about their civilization, a vast empire spanning hundreds of star systems. They described technologies beyond human understanding and spoke of bringing Earth into the galactic community. During a break, General Chino, Earth's military representative, approached Soman with concern. They speak of inclusion, but notice they only talk about what they can give us, not what we might offer them. This feels one-sided. Give it time, Soman advised. This is just the beginning. On the second day, Admiral Tahoe revealed the Vaxians' true intentions. He activated a holographic display showing Earth's defenses, military bases, and resource deposits, all mapped with disturbing accuracy. Your planet has valuable resources, he stated flatly. The Empire requires them. We offer integration into our domain on favorable terms. Your people will serve the Empire, and in return, we will elevate your civilization. Soman maintained her composure despite her shock. Admiral, perhaps there's a misunderstanding. Earth desires peaceful exchange and mutual cooperation, not servitude. There is no misunderstanding, Tahoe replied. The natural order of the galaxy is clear. Advanced civilizations guide lesser ones. Your technology is primitive. Your defenses inadequate. These are facts, not opinions. The atmosphere in the room chilled instantly. Human representatives exchanged alarmed glances as the full reality of their situation became clear. We cannot accept these terms, Soman stated firmly. Earth is sovereign and will remain so. Admiral Tahoe showed no reaction to her refusal. Consider carefully before rejecting our generous offer. Many species have resisted initially. None have succeeded. Over the next 3 days, negotiations deteriorated further. The Vaxians demanded Earth's surrender, access to all resources, and the right to relocate human populations as needed. Their only concession was allowing humans to maintain some cultural practices that did not interfere with imperial efficiency. In private, Earth's leaders debated their options. "We cannot possibly fight them," argued one diplomat. "Their technology is centuries beyond ours." "We cannot possibly surrender either," General Chuno countered. "Not to slavery." On the final day, Soman made one last appeal for peace. She spoke passionately about cooperation, mutual respect, and the possibility that humans might contribute unique perspectives to galactic society. Admiral Tejo listened impassively until she finished. "Your arguments have been evaluated and rejected," he said. "The Empire has calculated that conquest is more efficient than cooperation in your case. You have 1 month to prepare your planet for integration. After that, we will take what we require by force." As the human delegation prepared to return to Earth, Commander Jiho, a young military officer, approached Summon. "They never intended to negotiate, did they?" he asked quietly. "No," Summon replied. "This was just reconnaissance. They wanted to assess our reaction to threats." The human shuttle departed the Vaxian vessel with a heavy atmosphere aboard. As they approached the orbital station, a bright flash lit up the viewport. Turning to look, they saw the station erupting in flames, destroyed by a single shot from the Vaxian ship. "They're sending a message," General Chunho said grimly as the shuttle pilot took evasive action, "showing us how easily they can destroy our technology." The shuttle barely escaped, racing toward Earth as the Vaxian ship departed the system. They carried with them not just the news of diplomatic failure, but the certainty of coming war. Emergency sessions convened in every capital city. Military forces were mobilized. Scientists worked frantically to improve Earth's defenses. But beneath the frantic activity lay a sobering truth. Humanity faced an enemy unlike any it had encountered before. The Vaxian fleet entered the Sol system with overwhelming force. 50 warships, each capable of destroying a small moon, moved in perfect formation toward Earth. Admiral Tejo observed the tactical display with satisfaction. Their intelligence had identified all human military installations. Victory would be swift and total. "All ships in attack position," Commander Jinwoo reported. "Human defense forces detected moving to intercept." "Hardly worth calling them defense forces," Tejo remarked. "Their vessels are primitive. Begin the attack." The first wave of Vaxian cruisers surged forward, weapons charged. But as they approached Mars orbit, something unexpected happened. Human ships, much smaller than their Vaxian counterparts, emerged from hiding places among the asteroid belt. Instead of forming a defensive line as expected, they scattered in seemingly random patterns. Before the Vaxians could adjust their formation, the human vessels launched unusual projectiles. "Admiral, detecting multiple impacts on cruisers 3 and 7, Jinwoo reported with surprise. "They appear to be mining explosives." Tejo frowned. "Mining explosives?" "Yes, sir. Industrial-grade devices designed for breaking asteroids. Not military weapons at all." 2 Vaxian cruisers drifted out of formation, their engine sections damaged. Before repair crews could respond, swarms of small human fighters surrounded the damaged ships, targeting specific vulnerable points with precision. "This is not standard military doctrine," Tejo observed. "They fight like raiders, not a proper military force." On the bridge of the Terran ship Persistence, Captain Suho watched as his unorthodox strategy unfolded. "Mining charges deployed successfully," his tactical officer reported. "Vaxian shields were calibrated for energy weapons, not physical impacts." Suho nodded. "Continue the harassment pattern. Draw their capital ships toward Jupiter's gravity well." The human ships retreated, seemingly in disarray. The Vaxian fleet pursued, eager to crush the resistance. As they approached Jupiter, Human ships suddenly accelerated around the massive planet, using its gravity to slingshot at speeds their engines alone couldn't achieve. Admiral Tejo realized the trap too late. They're using the planet's gravitational field to enhance their maneuverability. Adjust course immediately. Several Vaxian ships, too slow to change direction, found themselves caught in Jupiter's powerful gravity field. Human vessels swept past, delivering targeted strikes before disappearing into the planet's complex system of moons. For the first time in his career, Admiral Tejo faced an enemy that wouldn't stand and fight properly. The humans refused to engage in traditional space combat. Instead, they struck quickly and vanished, using celestial bodies as cover and weapons. After 3 days of frustrating combat, the Vaxian fleet had lost 7 ships while destroying only 12 of the smaller human vessels, an unacceptable ratio for the Empire. They cannot match our technology, Tejo insisted to his commanders. Yet they persist with these irregular tactics. The Vaxians pushed forward, determined to reach Earth. As they approached the inner planets, a new challenge emerged. The humans had seeded the orbital paths with small, nearly undetectable devices. Proximity mines, reported Lieutenant Minsu as another destroyer took damage. And they're using Earth's orbital debris as camouflage. Every approach vector to Earth had been carefully trapped and monitored by human defenders. The Vaxians still advanced, their superior technology allowing them to detect and destroy most traps, but progress was slow and costly. 6 weeks into what should have been a 3-day conquest, Admiral Tejo received a disturbing transmission from the imperial capital. The Council demands answers. Director Kungo stated bluntly. How have these primitives delayed our conquest? They refuse to fight properly, Tejo explained, struggling to contain his frustration. They use the environment as a weapon. They adapt faster than anticipated. Excuses, Kungo replied coldly. The Empire does not accept failure. Finish this conquest or be replaced. Tejo ended the transmission, his reputation and career now at stake. He ordered his fleet to bypass the remaining defenses and strike directly at Earth's moon, where the largest human military base was located. The attack on Luna Station was brutal and effective. Vaxian warships bombarded the installation until nothing remained but ruins. Victory seemed certain until sensors detected a massive energy spike from Earth itself. Multiple launches detected, reported a stunned Commander Jinwu. Reading over 200 small craft rising from concealed silos. Earth had hidden its true defensive capabilities, revealing them only when the Vaxians fully committed to their attack. Human fighters swarmed the Vaxian capital ships from all directions. On the Terran Defense Command Station, General Chunho watched the battle unfold. They expected us to commit everything to the outer system defense, he said. Their arrogance is their weakness. Despite this unexpected resistance, the Vaxian technological advantage slowly turned the tide. One by one, human colonies and outposts fell. Mars held out for 3 weeks before its defenses failed. The Jupiter mining stations fought to the last defender. As Earth's situation grew desperate, rumors spread among the human resistance fighters of a secret project, something that might finally challenge the Vaxian dominance. Its code name whispered with hope. Defiance. Deep within the asteroid belt, hidden inside a hollowed-out planetoid, a secret project neared completion. The Terran Battleship Defiance floated in its construction dock, surrounded by engineers and technicians working around the clock. Its hull gleamed under the artificial lights, unlike any vessel humanity had built before. Captain Hyaron walked through the central corridor, her footsteps echoing on the metal floor. For 3 years, Earth's best minds had worked on this ship while maintaining absolute secrecy. The Defiance represented humanity's last, best hope against the Vaxian invasion. Captain on deck, called First Officer J.O. as she entered the bridge. At ease, Hyaron said, looking around at her crew. They were young, the best pilots and officers Earth had to offer. Many had lost homes and families to the Vaxian advance. Status report. Main systems are online, J.O. reported. The shield technology we reverse-engineered from the captured Vaxian scout is functioning at 94% efficiency. Weapon systems are operational. Hiren nodded. And the dimensional drive. Chief Engineer Minsu stepped forward. It works in simulations, Captain. But we've never tested it in real conditions. The theory is sound, but we're out of time, Hiren finished for him. Earth cannot hold out much longer. A technician rushed onto the bridge. Captain, Earth Defense Command is broadcasting on emergency channels. The Vaxians have broken through the lunar defense line. They'll reach Earth within 6 hours. Hiren looked at each officer on the bridge. This ship was designed to be our greatest weapon, built with technology the Vaxians don't know we possess. We're launching now. But Captain, Minsu protested, we need at least another week of testing. Earth doesn't have a week, Hiren said firmly. Prepare for immediate departure. As the Defiance's engines powered up, Admiral Tejo stood on the bridge of the Eternal Dominance, watching Earth grow larger on the main view screen. After months of frustrating resistance, victory was finally within reach. Prepare final approach, he ordered. Target their remaining defense platforms first. Admiral, Lieutenant Minsu called out suddenly. Sensors are detecting an unusual energy signature from the asteroid belt. Tahoe frowned. Another human trick. Show me. The tactical display shifted to show a section of the asteroid belt. Something was moving there, generating an energy reading unlike anything in the Vaxian database. It's approaching at incredible speed, Commander Jinwoo reported, concern clear in his voice. Its trajectory will intercept our fleet in 3 minutes. A suicide vessel. Tahoe wondered aloud. Raise shields on all ships. Prepare tow. His orders were cut short by a brilliant flash of light directly ahead of the Vaxian formation. Where empty space had been moments before, a ship now existed. It was smaller than the Eternal Dominance, but larger than any human vessel they had encountered before. Impossible, Tahoe whispered. They can't have dimensional jump technology. On the bridge of the Defiance, Captain Hiren gripped her command chair as the ship stabilized after its dimensional jump. Jump successful, Jeho announced, amazement in his voice. We're exactly where we planned, in the middle of the Vaxian fleet. They look surprised to see us, Hiren observed with grim satisfaction. Let's not waste the moment. Target the nearest Vaxian cruisers. Fire all weapons. The Defiance's weapon systems activated. Instead of conventional energy beams, they fired concentrated pulses that shifted through multiple phase states, rendering Vaxian shields useless. 3 cruisers exploded before they could return fire. Admiral Tejo stared in disbelief as his ships were destroyed. How is this possible? Their weapons are penetrating our shields. The human vessel is using some kind of phase-shifting technology, Commander Jinwoo reported frantically. Our shields are calibrated for single-phase energy weapons. Recalibrate immediately, Tahoe ordered. All ships, concentrate fire on that vessel. The Vaxian fleet responded, dozens of warships turning their weapons toward the Defiance. Energy beams lanced through space, but most dissipated harmlessly against the Defiance's shields. Their shields are holding, Jinwoo reported, unable to keep the shock from his voice. They've somehow adapted our own shield technology and improved it. On the Defiance, damage reports began coming in despite their advanced shields. The bridge shook as a particularly powerful hit struck the hull. Shield efficiency dropping to 78%, reported the tactical officer. We can't take sustained fire from the entire fleet. Captain Hiren remained calm. We don't need to defeat them all. Execute attack pattern Echo. Target their flagship. The Defiance's engines flared, the ship moving with surprising agility for its size. It weaved through the Vaxian formation, weapons firing continuously, heading directly for the Eternal Dominance. Admiral Tejo watched the human ship approach with a mixture of rage and reluctant admiration. Direct all power to forward shields, he commanded. Prepare for close-range combat. As the 2 ships closed on each other, the balance of power in the galaxy hung in the balance. For the first time in centuries, the Vaxian Empire faced a technological equal. The Defiance had changed everything. Earth's remaining defense forces, watching from a distance, saw hope return as the mighty Vaxian fleet scattered in confusion, no longer the invincible force they had once appeared to be. Smoke filled the bridge of the Eternal Dominance as Admiral Tejo gripped his command chair. 3 months had passed since the Defiance first appeared, and everything had changed. The Vaxian fleet that had seemed unstoppable was now retreating across multiple fronts. "Damage report," Tejo demanded, his voice hoarse from shouting orders. "Hull breaches on decks 5 through 9, Commander Jinwoo reported. "Main weapons at 40% capacity. Shield generators failing." Tejo's eyes narrowed as he watched the tactical display. The human vessel that had ruined his career and damaged the Empire's reputation was approaching again. The Defiance had become a symbol that inspired rebellion throughout Vaxian territory. "All remaining power to engines," he ordered. "We must retreat and regroup." As the Eternal Dominance limped away from the battlefield, Tejo knew the Empire would blame him for these defeats. His name, once spoken with fear and respect, would become associated with failure. On the bridge of the Defiance, Captain Hyarin watched the Vaxian flagship escape. Her ship had suffered damage as well, but they had won the day. Another human colony had been liberated. "Should we pursue, Captain?" asked First Officer J.O. Hyarin shook her head. "No. Our shields need time to recharge. Besides, the people on this world need our help." The Defiance had changed the nature of the war. Its revolutionary technology had given humanity a fighting chance. More importantly, its successes inspired other species who had lived under Vaxian rule. Rebellions erupted across the Empire as its military stretched thin trying to maintain control. On the liberated world of New Eden, Captain Hyarin met with representatives from 7 different species. They gathered in what had once been the Vaxian governor's palace. "The Vaxians are weakened but still dangerous," said Doran, whose reptilian species had suffered under Imperial rule for generations. "We must coordinate our efforts." Hyarin nodded. "Earth is building more ships with the same technology as the Defiance. But we need time. Time we may not have," warned Kelty, her translucent skin showing the rapid pulse of concern. "Our spies report that Admiral Tejo has returned to the Vaxian homeworld. They are adapting their technology to counter the Defiance." Back at the Vaxian capital, Admiral Tejo stood before the Imperial Council. He had expected punishment for his failures. Instead, he found opportunity. "Your experience fighting these humans makes you uniquely qualified," said the Emperor. "We are committing all resources to upgrading the Eternal Dominance, with new weapons designed specifically to destroy the Defiance." Tejo bowed deeply. "I will not fail again, Emperor." Over the next 2 months, both sides prepared for the inevitable confrontation. The Defiance led a growing alliance fleet, liberating world after world. The Eternal Dominance received experimental weapons and reinforced shields. Admiral Tejo studied every encounter with the human ship, identifying patterns and weaknesses. Captain Hyarin did the same, knowing that the Vaxians would adapt to their advantages. The final battle began in the Proxima Centauri system. The Defiance led an alliance fleet of 300 ships against the last major Vaxian battle group. At its center waited the upgraded Eternal Dominance. "All ships, maintain formation," Hyarin ordered as they approached the enemy fleet. "Remember your training and trust your allies." The first exchange of fire proved that the Vaxians had indeed adapted. New weapons pierced the Defiance's previously impenetrable shields. The bridge shook violently as systems failed. "Direct hit to our dimensional drive," reported Chief Engineer Minsu. "We can't jump." Hyarin remained calm despite the danger. "Focus all power on conventional engines and weapons. We fight the old way now." Across the battlefield, Admiral Tejo allowed himself a smile of satisfaction. "The human vessel is disabled. All ships concentrate fire on the Defiance." The next hour saw the most intense space battle in galactic history. Alliance ships fought desperately to protect the Defiance while faction vessels pressed their advantage. Both flagships took heavy damage. On the Defiance, Captain Hiren received a grim report. "Our main reactor is failing. We have maybe 10 minutes before complete shutdown." She looked around at her loyal crew, then at the tactical display showing the eternal dominance. "Set collision course for the Vaxian flagship," she ordered quietly. "Prepare to overload the reactor on impact." "Captain," Jeho protested, "there must be another way." "There isn't," she replied. "But our sacrifice will end this war. Signal the Alliance fleet to withdraw to safe distance." As the Defiance accelerated toward its target, Admiral Tejo realized the humans planned too late. "Evasive maneuvers," he shouted, but the Eternal Dominance's engines had been damaged in the battle. The two vessels that had changed the fate of the galaxy collided in a blinding explosion that temporarily outshone the nearby star. Neither Admiral Tejo nor Captain Hiren survived, but their final battle marked the end of Vaxian dominance. 1 year later, representatives from 24 species gathered on Earth to form the Galactic Alliance. The Vaxian Empire had collapsed, replaced by a democratic republic eager to make amends for centuries of oppression. Above Earth, a new ship prepared for its maiden voyage. The TBS Hiren gleamed in the sunlight, the first of a new class of vessels designed not for war, but for exploration. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through conquest, but through courage, innovation, and the willingness to stand against tyranny.